Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be giving you a full breakdown of personalizing your cold emails. Whether it's writing it manually using AI or segmenting your lead list. I kind of give you a full breakdown, the pros, the cons of personalizing your cold emails. So let's get right into it. Alright, so I'm a co-founder at QuickLines. We basically built a software that helps to personalize your cold emails at scale. It will, go look at your prospect's LinkedIn profile and just, grab some information to kind of spin up a nice little compliment. And, we scaled this to about 5,000 users and have done roughly about $100,000 in a single month during our LTD. And so I really want to take you through the lens of someone that's really been around the block when it comes to personalization and show you all the different ways to do personalization and kind of really break down, what works and what is scalable in today's time. So let's get right into it. Let's break exactly what is a personalized first line, right? So personalized first line could be literally anything. It could be a compliment, it could be a reference, it could be, congratulating them on a funding round. The main point of personalization when it comes to the personalized first line is making your prospect believe that you took the time out to manually open up your email and type out an email specifically for that prospect. And the reason why it's so effective is simply because, think about your prospect. They're getting 10, 15 cold emails a day and none of them are personalized. So they're just opening them and just letting them sit, right? But if they see an email come out, and in this example, you're, giving them kudos for their LinkedIn recommendation and name dropping the person that gave them the LinkedIn recommendation, they're just more likely to respond, right? And so do you need the personalization in cold emails? I believe so, right? And you may say I'm biased because I run QuickLines, but think about it, right? Like they're getting 10, 15 cold emails a day. Like what's the best way to stand out? By making it seem like it's personalized. And by no means do you need to use something like QuickLines. You could, have a VA write it or use segmented angles, which is something I'm going to be speaking about towards the end of this video. But at the end of the day, you do need some level of personalization when it comes to your cold emails. So let's kind of talk about the 3 ways that you can personalize your cold emails. So let's start off with human personalization. So what this is like you literally go in and you hire someone, it could be a VA from Upwork, to go into your lead list and write a personalized line manually for each individual prospect. And so the pros of this is that, obviously you can get super personalized and you can be way more granular and make it seem way more, personal. There's way less chances of errors or weird sentences that you might get when using something like QuickLines or SmartWriter or Line, right? And the issue there, though, is that it's super time intensive. So we actually used to do this within our agency. We used to have, a team of about 4 line writers that would simply sit there and go through the lead list of our clients and write personalized first lines. And what we came down to was about 15 lines per hour. And so it was just super time intensive because if you're, trying to queue up a campaign with 1,000 prospects, it's just going to take forever for your VA to be able to go through and get you some quality lines. And then the other issue is that it just costs a lot, right? So think about it, right? 15 lines per hour. If you're paying your VA, like let's say $5 to $9 per hour, you're basically paying, almost $9 for just 15 lines. And so it just gets pretty expensive. And so, human personalization, would I still use it? Yeah, definitely. There's a time and place for it, for sure. When it comes to hitting a very small market where you probably shouldn't be burning any bridges and you want to stand out when it comes to cold emails, like using a VA, using a human is probably very necessary. All right. So now let's kind of talk about AI personalization and what it looks like when using something like QuickLines, for example. So, obviously AI is way cheaper, right? So you're paying really about 10 cents per credit, which is going to spit out about 3 lines. And so you're saving a lot of money and it's way quicker as well. Like I could upload a list of 10,000 prospects and get it back within 30 minutes. Doing that manually, it's going to take days. And so, your ability to launch campaigns quicker is massive because you're just saving so much time. But then the issue is that, obviously using AI, it's never going to be as personal as a human. And it may be a little cheesy and corny and, can sound a little bit off, which can, rub your prospects, the wrong way. But, in my experience, I would say like the AI lines, whether you're using QuickLines, SmartWriter, or Line, whatever you're using, a majority of the time, they're about 70. Actually, let me be a little bit more realistic. It's probably around like 60 to 70% accurate, right? Where you don't really need to make any edits and you probably can just send as is. But the other 30% can get pretty bad. I've seen some very bad AI personalized lines. And, if you're targeting a very large market, I think it's totally fine to do it. And it's going to help you stand out. Like, for example, let's say you're selling like something like website design. Website design is commoditized. It is, right? There's so many website design agencies. There's more popping up every single day. And, if they're cold emailing people to, redo their website, there's probably another 15, 20, 30 people doing the same. And so using something like AI to personalize that cold email and to stand out in the inbox is something that's going to help your performance a lot. And so that's the pros and cons when it comes to AI personalization. So now I want to kind of break down personalized angles, because this is something that we've been doing a lot recently, and it obviously works at scale and is, honestly outperforming some of the AI personalization. So this works well when you're targeting like a specific industry or like a specific job or department, and you can make like specific angles at that. So here's an example, right? We were running a campaign for a client, and we knew that they were targeting marketing agencies. That was the target market. And every marketing agency has a case study on their website. So we had one of our VAs go in and basically scrape the company name mentioned in the case study, right? And then we were able to create our own personalized line. So our personalized line basically said, "Love the work you did for case study name," right? And so this makes it seem like it's highly personalized to the recipient. So take a look at this email really quickly. So we basically emailed Neil and we said, "Hey Neil, happy Tuesday. I was taking a look at your website and saw the work you did for Candid Partner." So if Neil is reading this email, he's thinking, wow, these guys actually took the time out to go look at what I did, right? And so it's gonna help us get a higher response rate because we're just doing that extra level of effort. It's not, as corny and cheesy as AI, and it's not as manual and as tough as writing out, whole sentences manually, right? And so personalized angles are probably the best and fastest way to write like efficient personalized lines. But the issue is that sometimes it is tougher to think of like a clever personalized angle. And sometimes it does require data entry. And if you don't have like the right tools in your tech stack, it gets really hard to kind of accomplish. And so, some of my other favorite personalized angles is like, for example, pulling the city. Right? And so, you could say something like, "Hey, first name, I was taking a look at company name and noticed that, you're based out of Dallas. Are you a Mavericks fan?" Or, let's say, for example, you're selling something like SEO. You could say, "Hey, first name, was searching up, best restaurants in city area and couldn't find company name," right? That's a great way to kind of bridge into an SEO offer, right? And so those are the different ways you could do a personalized angle. And the quickest and best way to kind of go about it is leveraging tools like Ocean. So what Ocean allows you to do is it uses AI to build a list of similar companies. So for example, if I put in a company into their platform, it's going to basically spit out, hundreds of companies that are exactly like what I inputted. So if my goal was to find, let's say for example, a B2B lead generation agency, I could put in leadbird.io, and it's basically going to output a whole bunch of our competitors, right? And then if, let's say for example, I was emailing all of them and I wanted like a personalized intro line that wasn't using AI or wasn't having me going in and manually doing it, I could say like, "I was reaching out because I noticed you were a B2B lead generation agency." And so I'm making a specific claim in that angle, right? I'm not just saying, "Hey, I was reaching out because I noticed you're an agency." I was coming in and saying, "I noticed that you are a B2B lead generation agency." And so it's an easy way to kind of stand out and let them know that you did some level of homework. So now let's talk about, when to use AI and when to use a human. So I kind of touched on this earlier, but if your product or service is a commodity that many people sell, you should be using AI personalization, right? Things like website design, things like SEO or Facebook ads, anything of that sort, I would probably use AI because you have a very large TAM. But if your TAM is super small or if you're selling something very specific and niche, I would just use a human, right? You don't want to kind of stand out, and you don't want to rub anyone the wrong way because it is a small space. And so that's kind of how I go about it when it comes to using AI versus humans. And if I could think of an easy campaign that could take a personalized angle, I'm probably going to go with that first. And so that's my complete breakdown of when and when not to use AI when it comes to personalized cold emails.